Hey everyone, Hexlex here. I'm on my current once-in-a-blue moon uploading schedule, but this time I have some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel for you guys today. So I've played a lot of card games on the channel in the past, and I've always kind of alluded to the fact that my card game of origin, so to speak, or the one that really sucked me into TCGs as a whole, was Yu-Gi-Oh! At a very young age. And I have played Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively in the past. I've stopped playing around 2017, I believe, but I went to Nationals. It wasn't even called World Championship Qualifiers or WCQ at the time. This was back when they were called Nationals. I went to my first one in 2007. So, that was casually 15 years ago. But for about 10 years, I played the game at a very competitive level, qualifying for Nationals just about every year. Don't mind me humble bragging. I'm just kind of giving my credentials here, so to speak, for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So yeah, I started playing this, I think 4 days ago now. And I intended to go into the game very casually at first and not really try too hard to get into like the competitive, climbing the ladder. But of course, like any card game I play, I inevitably end up doing that anyway. So with Yu-Gi-Oh!, like I said, the last time I played was in 2017, so links were still fairly new to me. I mean, I knew how to link summon, but I never really played with links before. I've got some replays here at Platinum for you guys. I'll go ahead and show you my profile here. I guess feel free to give me a follow if you'd like. But yeah, I'm currently at Platinum 3, hoping to make Platinum 1 maybe tonight, actually. I might be able to get up to Platinum 1. I guess we'll see how it pans out. But I'm currently at Platinum 3. I've got a fairly decent win rate. Last time I checked, I think it was like 44 and 15. I have it written down here somewhere. And it's not updated for quite all my duels, but I'll go ahead and show you the deck I've been using. I've got two here, Tri-Brigade Zoodiac. This is the one I've been laddering with exclusively. I also built Sky Strikers as well. I did admittedly drop $30 on the game, but you definitely don't even have to drop any money to play competitively. I think we all know that by this point. So this is the Tri-Brigade Zoodiac list that I've been laddering with. Well, this is my current iteration of it. I've been changing it as I get more and more Ultra craft points, and been adding more and more staples, but this is the current list here. I'm currently running 3 of each Tri-Brigade monster except for Karis. I do play only 2 of, because it's not a card you want to see all the time. I've got the 3 Maxis, I've got the 3 Ash Blossoms, I've got my 3 Permanents and my 2 Called by the Grave. I think these are pretty important for the deck, particularly Ash Blossom and Impermanence. If you're going to craft any of like the staples or hand traps, I think those are the ones to go for first. Maxi is kind of a risky craft because we don't know if how long this is going to be around in the future, what kind of ban list the game might use. But yeah, it's still a pretty good card to have for this format in particular. Extra deck is fairly standard. The only thing that's kind of not standard is that I'm not using I forget what it's called. It's one of the Ancient Warrior Link monsters, I believe. Yeah, it's this one here. A lot of decks are playing this Ancient Warrior's Oath. I might craft it and try it out, but in the meantime, I'm just playing an extra Zoodiac Exceed monster, just so I can get some extra materials for a potential Zeus. I have run into a scenario where I've been like 1 material short, so to give this 4, I end up with 3 materials, so that's why I threw in the Hammer Kong, the extra Zoodiac Exceed. But as you can see, my build is fairly standard otherwise. I'm using Lightning Storm and Feather Duster, which are kind of not standard, but I like them because I see a lot of Eldelich on the ladder, and this is very good to counter that. Normally you would want these in the side deck, where this game is best of 1. I'm not running Nibiru's either. I haven't crafted them yet. I'm not sure if there's other cards for maybe other decks I want to craft first, but I'm using a second Whiptail and Ramrod kind of in place of 2 Nibiru right now. You definitely don't need 2 of these. You really only need like 3 Zoodiac monsters. But so this is the build itself. Like I said, for the most part, it's fairly standard. Now I have a few replays that I'm going to share as well, and I'll talk a little bit over those just to kind of explain some of my plays. Sorry, we don't go here for replays. Those are in the profile. Yeah, I'm still trying to navigate this game a little bit. Like I said, I've only been playing it for about 4 days. I mean, it's only been out for I think not even a week so far, but Yeah, I didn't get into it right away because I've been a little bit iffy about Yu-Gi-Oh in the past, but I've actually had a lot of fun playing this. Okay, so I think we'll start by sharing this replay. This was, I believe, my game against Dragon Maids, which isn't a meta deck, but I can kind of show you in this game how Tri-Brigade Zoodiac can play around a lot of decks and even play going second as well. Ideally, you'd want to go first playing this deck, but this build in particular is meant to go second too. So you see we opened a pretty decent going second hand. Our opponent played Upstart, which at first we think they were Sky Striker, but here we see our first Dragon Maid. We're going to go ahead and negate that with Ash Blossom, because if they can't send their big dragons to the grave or add them to their hand, if they don't have access to them, Dragon Maid is a very sad deck, because although they just have small monsters on the board. So we went ahead and ashed the Parlor Dragon Maid so that it couldn't send a level 8 Dragon Maid to the graveyard. So they're going to max C, and this is why I wanted to show this game, right? They max C in response to discarding Fractal, which I don't think is actually a very good play here, because I haven't committed to any special summons yet. And here's the thing about Zoodiac Tri-Brigade, you can actually make really strong boards with very minimal special summons, as I'm about to show you here. So we did the whole Fractal chain to add a Fractal and summon it. We made the Zoodiac link, or not the Zoodiac, the Tri-Brigade link 3, and we were able to go into Access Code Talker with 5,300 attack points, and you see we only actually gave them 2 draws off of that, which is, for what we got out of that play, was definitely not bad at all. We go ahead and set Impermanence and Twin Twister here. We've got a good backup plan for our next turn. So yeah, we didn't get to get the Revolt, which ideally you want to do every single turn. They do have the Raigeki for Access Code Talker, which is a little bit sad, but we're going to go ahead and negate their Kitchen Dragon Maid so they can't add their level 8 dragon. Once again, we're just trying to keep them from being unable to access those big dragons. If you can do that, Dragon Maid's pretty sad. They can't do a whole lot. You see, even with this attack here, the effect is negated, so they're not able to tag into a big dragon. Even though it's only one back row, I'm still going to Twin Twister during the end phase. We can discard Kit to get her effect, and because we don't really need her to combo off because we've already got a Tenki. And really, that's all you need. But we can add the Fractal, which will give us even more combo potential. You can see, one of the big reasons this deck is good is because Fractal alone can get you the rank 3 Tri-Brigade with Revolt to go into the boss monster Omen next turn. But even something as small as Fractal plus Tenki, you can see we're already able to make huge plays off of this. Now, the replay is going a little bit quickly. However, I'm kind of thinking about making a separate video just to show off some of the combos this deck is possible. Pulling off, rather. That way, we can go through it a little bit more slowly, and I can actually explain how to make good boards. Now, the thing is, I've only been playing this deck for like a few days, right? So I'm actually still very much in the learning process of it as well. Like you can see here, I linked away Borbo, which I really shouldn't have done. Borbo, you want to save to potentially get a direct attack with a Zeus, or rather to make a Zeus. So that was a minor misplay. I mean, it's not going to end up mattering here in this game in particular, but that's a very minor misplay I did there. And I'm sure I'm, making other minor misplays in this combo that I just haven't picked up on, but like I said, I'm very much still, even in the process of just relearning Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, because like I said, the last time I played was in 2017, right? So I've missed out on a lot. I missed Master Rule 4. That was the main reason I quit, is that I'm not a particularly big fan of Master Rule 4. Fortunately, Master Rule 5 made it so that, Fusion, Synchros, and Exceeds aren't tied to Link Summoning like they were before. So that kind of piqued my interest in the game, and you can see we got the concede from our opponent once we banished their Dragon Maid so that they can't tack into a larger one. But yeah, like I said, 2017 was the last time I played the game in real life. I think even 2016 if we're counting tournaments and stuff, but let's see. I know I saved this replay very recently that I wanted to share. This replay was kind of like, okay, I kind of want to share this and make the video, so I was thinking about waiting until I hit Platinum 1 to make a deck profile video, but yeah, I just kind of felt like making it, so I might still make a separate video after I hit rank 1 anyway. Okay, so you see we got a pretty monster heavy hand with this deck, or with oh, this is the game I just had against Cybers, that's right. So yeah, I wanted to show this game off because I can show you how, even with I'm going to pause this real quick because, right, all we opened with was Kit and then these 4 monsters. So we actually don't have a Fractal or even a Keres to get a special summon off to get started. But if you're playing Salamangreat Almirage, which I don't see everybody playing, but if you're playing this, you can link away Kit in order to link summon it, and then Kit can send Nerval, and now after I unpause, we'll see this will actually let me go into a pretty good combo that I normally wouldn't have had access to. So this Salomon Great Monster is an ultra rare, so it's a bit of an expensive craft, but it's very much worth it, even though it doesn't look like it on the surface. You know, it's not an impressive link monster, and its use for it is a bit niche. It's specifically good in hands like this where you have Kit and Nerval, but not Fractal or Karis. And you can see we're actually going to be able to not only set up a Revolt with this play, but also a Trident as well. Now, we could have actually not set up Trident and instead gone for an Apologia, but I think the Trident plus the Revolt, I mean, we could have had the Revolt with the Apologia play, but I actually kind of like having the Trident separate, because now we can have the option to go into Zeus, potentially. We can also kind of use the Trident potentially as a bit of a, like, quote-unquote distraction, right? Or rather, we have to force our opponent to kind of split their attention between two different things. They have to out the Trident and the Omen. Again, to be fair, if I had made Apologia, then it still would have been true. They would have had to split their focus between the Apologia and the Omen as well. But again, this is also kind of a combo I just wanted to try out, because I'd honestly never tried going for a Trident with the Omen play like this, so I just wanted to see how viable it was. Now, arguably, I should have chained Maxi to the Cybers network. I do end up missing out on 2 draws for Maxi as a result of it. However, I wasn't fully sure if my opponent, like how much my opponent was going to be able to commit, which is why I ended up waiting here. I also popped with Trident probably earlier than I should have. I probably should have waited to pop this Chimera Tech Mega Fleet with Trident's effect. But again, I wasn't sure exactly to the extent of which my opponent was going to be able to combo. So I just wanted to get rid of the Cyber Dragon right away, because there are some hands that Cyber Dragon potentially has where if you stop that special Cyber, that first one, they're kind of just out of gas. I mean, that's a very niche situation, and I'm probably only playing into it because it happened to me in a relatively recent game playing against Cybers, but it's something to consider, and it's why, I mean, it's something to consider. It probably wasn't the right play, but it's the reason I popped Cyber Dragon with Trident there and used it so early. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and just flip the Revolt in response to Nova. I don't know if they're planning on going for Infinity here, or if they're just trying to use Nova's effect, but either way, I'm not trying to deal with that, so I'm just going to get rid of Nova right now. And this is the big power of the Tri-Brigade engine, is being able to drop Omen on your opponent's turn. And you can see with that Revolt, we're also going to trigger all 3 effects of Kit, Nerval, and Bearbrum. So we're going to be able to get rid of one of our Tri-Brigades, send it to the graveyard, we're going to search one with Nerval, and we're going to add another Revolt with Bearbrum. Not that we're going to even end up needing the Revolt, because I think we actually end up summoning our second Omen on the next turn anyway. If you have 3 Omen, I guess there's... I mean, actually, I have 3 Omen. I've considered playing 3 copies because there are, again, very niche situations. The extra deck kind of has, like, 1 or 2 flex spots. It's got 1 main flex spot. You could argue, or some people would argue, that the spot where Salomon Great Almirage is in is a flex spot. But, again, the main reason I chose to show this replay in particular is to show why I think Salomon Great Almirage isn't even a flex spot, why I think you should just always have it. Because if I didn't have the option to link away Kit there, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I mean, I would have been able to go into a Zoodiac play, but I wouldn't have been able to set up any kind of Tri-Brigade play at all. And you can see our opponent did manage to answer a couple of our monsters, but they actually oddly left the Trident alone, which I thought was a little strange, but I mean, ultimately they weren't able to answer everything either way, so we're just going to go ahead and banish the Siger and pop the Mega Fleet, and I mean, from here on the game's pretty much over. I guess they could top deck and answer conceivably. I'm not super familiar with the ins and outs of Cyber Dragons. I don't know what they can do with like 2 cards, but I mean, since we battled with Trident, we get to make Zeus here. Now, something to think about with Zeus. Zeus is a machine, and with Cyber Dragons, you never know. They might always have Fortress in their extra deck. Yeah, I go ahead and Ash the plant here, but this is actually a pretty clever bait from my opponent. They use the Repair Plant to bait my Ash because they're really trying to go for their Pot of Desires here. But yeah, you never know if Cyber Deck is going to be playing Chimera Tech over Dragon, and Zeus is a machine. So at this point, I'm actually going to pause real quick. Oh, well, they attacked already, so it kind of spoiled it. But when they summoned this Cyber Dragon, I did legit sit and think here for like a good minute or two, trying to decide if I wanted to chain Zeus. I ultimately ended up not chaining Zeus, as you can saw, because the Cyber Dragon, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see, because the Cyber Dragon you see did end up attacking, so they didn't end up, I don't know if they have a Fortress Dragon or if they decided not to use it. They probably just don't have it in their extra deck, but the main reason I decided to not chain Zeus to destroy everything in response to the summon of Cyber Dragon is I figured that even if they made a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon with my Zeus, using both of their monsters, it'd only have a total of 2,400 attack. I believe Fortress Dragon gets 800 attack for every material you use for it, so 2,400 would not have been able to attack over Shurig anyway, which is why I decided to let it resolve. And also just the fact that it's a pretty big risk to chain Zeus there. I mean, I'd be giving up a good bit of board presence, so... we actually get the rare opportunity to use Almirage's second effect in this duel too, since they destroyed our Nerval. Not that it's going to really end up mattering. And here, thanks to our Maxi, again, we missed out on 2 draws, but our opponent gave us a lot of draws off of Maxi anyway, so we have a nice full hand to... just fill out the rest of our board with a bunch of boss monsters. I mean, so, like I kind of touched on, I'm kind of like an old school player, right? So I'm always thinking about stuff like, even though Gores hasn't been meta relevant forever, you can see that I'm still attacking in a way that plays around Gores or any other monster that might have an effect that activates from hand during the battle phase, like Tragodia or something similar. Not that, again, people play those cards at all anymore, but again, like I said, I'm kind of old school, so I just played around those a bit. So, we could go ahead and watch a couple more, like another replay or two. Again, I'm curious about this one. Half of these I don't even remember what's on them, so I guess let's go ahead and check this one out. I'm pretty sure I did go through and delete all my replays that I accidentally captured, or that just weren't very interesting, so let's see what we've got here. Ooh, this hand is a little dicey. You can see we opened with 2 Kit, Thoroughblade, and Imperm. We're going second. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a Drytron deck. Ah, yes, I remember this game now. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and Imperm the Herald so that they can't send the Herald Synchro Monster from the extra deck, which would kickstart their engine. And you can see they actually end up stopping our opponent altogether, so... that's a really good Imperm on our part. And oh, we ripped the Fractal off the top of the deck. But they actually had an Ash for it, so this out doesn't inherently save us. You know what? I don't even think I saved this replay for this reason, but this is inadvertently going to be yet another replay that showcases just why Salamangreat Almirage is, in my opinion, not a flex spot, but should be mandatory for this extra deck. Now, to be fair, I think most people are starting to pick up on that. It could have even been that I only saw one deck list on YouTube that didn't have Almirage in the extra deck, and that's kind of what made me think, like, how are people not playing this? I will say one notable downside to Almirage is that you can't really link them away, so unfortunately, in that regard, they don't really contribute to the combo there, but, you know, we're going to get to Bear Brum anyway. As long as you are able to make... I can never remember this Link 3's name. What is it? Rugal. As long as you can make a Rugal, sending a Bear Brum to search your Revolt, you should be fine. You can see we've got an Imperm down here for negates as well. So Drytron is a deck I admittedly don't know a terribly whole lot about. I mean, I've played against them a few times, so I know the general idea that they try to get that big 4,000 attack ritual monster out. But the cool thing about our deck is that, I don't remember if it can't be targeted or not, but we're going to make our opponent really sad because we're about to use our second Imperm on their second Diviner of the Herald there. But yeah, the cool thing about Shurig, Omen, our boss monster, is that the banish is non-targeting. So non-targeting banishing, very, very powerful. Gets around a lot of boss monsters. Again, I don't remember if the big Drytron ritual has protection against banishing, but... or against targeting, rather, but yeah, we're able to get around boss monsters that do. So yep, here I'm going to go ahead and flip the Revolt just to get rid of the Nightmare Unicorn. You can see I'm reading what Nightmare Unicorn does because I'm struggling to remember. Yet another sign of how, like, relatively inexperienced I am. This deck's combos are actually not very hard to learn. Once you get the main idea of how the Tri-Brigade main deck monsters interact, then it's not too hard to get the rest of the combos kind of down pat. Basically, the thing you want to keep in mind is that in a perfect world, you're always going to start by discarding Fractal, use Fractal's effect to send Kit from your deck to the graveyard. Since Kit is sent to the graveyard, you would send Nerval from your deck to the graveyard, and then Nerval will either add either a second Fractal or a Burgess, depending on if you can special summon the Burgess or if you have to normal summon the Fractal, because all of the Tri-Brigade monsters, as we all know, have this effect where they can banish Beast, Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast from the graveyard in order to perform a Link summon. So the idea is that you want to stock up your graveyard full of Link monster, or full of Tri-Brigade and other Beast, Beast Warrior, Wing Beast monsters, and then just go ahead and start banishing them away. Like I said, I'll go into a more in-depth combo video maybe in the near future, maybe after I hit rank, or rather Platinum 1. But okay, so there's a few replays just to kind of showcase some of my games with the deck. You can kind of see the overwhelming board state that the deck is able to create, and honestly how even going second, you can just completely create a state where your opponent's not able to come back from. But yeah, I think that is going to go ahead and do it for this video. So hey, thank you so much for watching. I do potentially have some more of these videos coming out in the future. Like I said, once I hit Platinum 1, I'd like to share maybe a bit more of my insights, not only into the deck, but into laddering in Master Duel in general. We can do a combo video. That's definitely something we can do in the near future. And, you know, if the videos pick up enough traction, maybe we could even just show, like, you know, have a video here and there of, like, oh, here's, like, 3 or 5 replays, you know. We'll just see how it goes. So, like I said, thank you for watching. This is HexLex, signing out. Hope you have a great day.